Hello, girls and guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Robo Thoughts. And this is a special series called Vision Intelligence on Jetson Nano Zero to Hero. Alright, guys, we are on lesson number 14, and in this lesson, we are going to learn about how to connect servo motors to your Jetson Nano, how you are going to control the motors in different angles, right? It's a very important aspect in robotics. So basically, okay, I'm going to show you a couple of other devices, and it's called PCA 9685. Okay, it's basically nothing but a motor driver. It's a driver board. It looks like this, guys. This is what is called PCA 9685. Let me just come a little close by. Okay, it's a very low cost and a very robust and dynamic I2C bus driver. Okay, this works fantastic with your Jetson Nano. Of course, there are tons of other motor drivers which I am going to show you, but that's going to be specific for driving DC motors. But if you are using servo motors in your applications, in your robotics application, then I suggest you need to get this. This hardly costs about 200 rupees, 200 to 300 rupees, Indian rupees. Okay, it's very economical. So basically, guys, the PCA 9685, this has got 16 channel I2C bus controller. Okay, and this is a very small 16 channel driver board which contains an I2C-controlled PWM, okay, pulse width modulation driver with an inbuilt clock. Okay, this is also 5-volt compliant. That means you can control it from a 3.3 volt output of your Jetson Nano GPIO pins, alright, which is here, which is somewhere here just next to the micro USB port. So this is where you get your 3.3 volt, and there are also 5 volt, couple of 5 volt actually. So I'm going to show you in details, and I'm also going to show you the circuit diagram, how to connect the PCA 9685 to your this GPIO pins. It's a very simple, guys, so nothing to worry about it. All right, so what we got to be doing is, so basically, guys, you need to understand how this works. So what is an I2C? So I2C is a serial communication protocol. Okay, so basically the data is transferred in a bit to bit, 0 1 0 1 0 1, bit to bit by bit along the signal wire. Okay, so these are that there are a couple of pins, right? Can you see here? There are multiple pins called SDA kind of and the ground pin and the voltage pin and SCL pin. Okay, so basically the I2C bus, I2C stands for inter IC. That means two different chips can communicate. The IC integrated circuits can communicate with each other, right? So Jetson Nano has got a ultimate powerful chip, and this has got an ultimate powerful chip, and you may want to connect your, say, Arduino in the future. So this board basically integrates between your Jetson Nano and Arduino and multiple other devices or sensors which you are going to use using PCA 9685. Okay, so this is basically a bi-directional 2-wire serial bus that provides a communication link between two different physical chips, two different ICs. All right, so in this there is a pin called SDA. So SDA is nothing but a serial data. It stands for serial data pin. So this the line for the master and the slave, which will send data back and forth. Okay, and there is something called SCL, which is nothing but a serial clock pin in this. Can you see that? I'll show you in the circuit diagram. So the line and that particular pin carries your clock signal, so wherein you can control the oscillation of your servo motors. So let me show you a circuit diagram which I had put together for you to easily understand how to connect. Alright, guys, so this is the circuit drawing which you will be using. So what you need to do is, on the right hand side you can see the Jetson Nano pin. So there are about 40 different pins here, right? So we will be using primarily the pin number 1 here, the pin number 1, 3 and 5, and there is also ground pin which is 6. So basically 3.3 volt and SDA and SEL pin and the ground pin. So that's what we will be using to connect these two, the Jetson Nano with your GPIO pins. All right, so you can just use some of this jumper wires which is easily available. So what you need to do is, if you look at the circuit drawing here, so the VCC pin of PCA9685 connects to the pin 1, that is the 3.3 volt of Jetson Nano. Okay, so that means you just have to take this wire and find out, it's actually labeled. If you see this board, it's clearly labeled which is VCC and SDA and SEL and the ground pin kind of thing. So you can just directly plug this, right? You can just plug it here inside. I hope you guys can see this. You can just plug it in, and the other end, just follow this particular instructions I had given. So VCC pin should go to 3.3 volt of Jetson Nano, which is your pin number 1. All right, and the ground pin, which is written here, if you see in this board, there's a ground pin. It's written here very clearly, ground. So in that you can put another wire, and that will connect to your pin number 5, which is next to the ground pin of Jetson Nano here. Can you see it here? The ground pin of Jetson Nano, pin number 5. And then you need to connect your SDA and SEL pin to pin number 3 and 5 of Jetson Nano, which is next to your 5 volt pin and the ground pin. So it's basically these 4-5 pins we will be playing around, guys. Nothing great about it, but it's very simple. It's very simple, trust me. Take this, go ahead and buy this, take bunch of these wires, jumper wires, and connect to your Jetson Nano, and we will show. And then what you need to do, guys, you just, for testing purpose, I have these kind of servos. It's again a low cost servo motors. You can get it anywhere online just for about about 300 rupees. So this wire, what you need to do is, there is a drawing here which I had given. There's a color combination, right? So yellow, red and black. So most of the motors comes with a brown wire at the end. So that is nothing but your ground pin, the brown wire. Can you see here? So that's a brown wire that goes to your, if you see the ports, there are about 16 different channels here. There are 16 different channels. So this connects to your servo motors, and you can also use your sensors. At the later stage I'll show you how to do that. What you need to do is, so basically in your servo, combine the same combination of color. The black or the brown should go to the ground of PCA 9685 here, which is at the last, right, at the end. So I put some arrow marks in the circuit drawing. If you see it carefully, you just have to plug those 3 wires in serial. So basically the port 1 from this pin, it will start at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, like that. So the first 4 channels will be for 4 different servo motors, and the next 4 will be for another 4 motors or sensors. So similar way you can connect up to 16 channels out here. In fact, in principle, practically speaking, you can connect multiple PCA 9685 in parallel using SDA SEL through this particular port, and go up to 999 servo motors. And I don't know what's going to be the application for that, but it's possible. All right, guys. So now what we will do is, we need to, once you plug in this, once you finish your wiring, make sure that you connect it properly as per the circuit diagram. I am going to leave the circuit diagram in my GitHub account, and I'll share the link at the bottom of this video in the description. Make sure that you have the proper pin configurations done. It's very important you follow the right pin as per this drawing. Do not mess it up. Connect it, connect your servos, and then power it up. Once you power it, once your Jetson Nano boots up, you can see a red LED glowing out of this PCA 9685. So that means it's powering up. It's coming, it's working perfect. However, there are multiple other steps we need to follow in Jetson Nano. So that means we are going to install a couple of libraries and then give access to the Jetson Nano's GPIO pins and stuff like that, which I'm going to show you now. And we will go to the Jetson Nano and let me open my terminal. There you go. I'm on my terminal, guys. I hope you guys can see. Let me just expand this a bit. All right, so first what we are going to do is let's install pip. I know some of the previous lessons we did install pip, but not sure how many of you followed. Make sure that you have the Python 3 pip installed on your Jetson Nano, and I will show you how to do that once again. If you want, you need to sudo apt, oops, what's happening, 1 second guys. Alright, I just interchanged my keyboards. Happens with multiple devices on your desktop. Okay, sudo space apt minus get install Python 3 minus pip. Okay, I had already installed this, guys. If I enter, it might show that it's already been done. So anyways, I'll just show it to you guys. Yeah, there you go. So it will take hardly about say 3 or 4 minutes or maximum 5 minutes for you to install. So it doesn't take much time. Okay, and then we need to, what we need to do is we need to make both the hardwares, the PCA9685 and your Jetson Nano, talk to each other, right? How do we make it to talk? It has to communicate, and the way it is done is through your I2C bus. Okay, not only for the servo motors, even for the sensors which we will be integrating in the upcoming lessons, which I am going to show you, and that's going to interact through your I2C bus only. Hence, in order to make that happen, we need to install a Python library called Circuit Python. Okay, it's a Python library, it's open source, right? So this is what the command you got to follow: sudo pip 3 install Adafruit minus Circuit Python minus servo kit. Right, it's thinking whether to go or not. There you go, it's already been satisfied in my case. So guys, when you hit enter, you might see this warning. Okay, so do not get panicked. It's the same way what you did in your previous lessons. You might get some warnings and signals and kind of thing. So do not get panicked, just let it run. This will take approximately about 5 to 10 minutes. It depends upon your network. All right, so once you install this particular library, what we need to do is we will have to need to give some permissions, your administrative permissions in your Jetson Nano to access that particular library and start communicating with PCA9685. Okay, so there are a couple of commands. I'll show it to you, and I will also leave this command in the description below. So follow one by one, slowly at a time, without doing any mistakes. All right, guys. So this is how we will do. The first command, sudo user mod minus a and then uppercase G space I2C, and then you need to put your username. So whatever the username you set for your Jetson Nano, that's the username you are going to put it next. So my username is Anbu. Click enter. It has accepted. If it doesn't, if it shows any error, that means something went wrong. So if it accepts, that means everything is perfect. Then sudo group add. You are going to add your username into the group of that user mod. Okay, group add space minus F space minus R space GPIO. GPIO stands for General Purpose Input Output. Okay, enter, boom, it's accepted. So that means it's working. Now sudo user mod -a and then space minus uppercase G GPIO and then put your username again. All right, my username is Anbu and I click enter. There you go, it's accepted. Now the next command is pretty lengthy command, so follow this carefully. Sudo space cp, that is you're copying that, and then space /opt NVIDIA /Jetson -GPIO /etc/99 -GPIO dot rules and then space /etc/ and then UDEV, one second, UDEV, okay, /rules.d and then /. All right, so guys, sometime you see an error that this is not a directory, something like that, it shows up. Just ignore it, don't worry about that, okay? It just happens sometimes. So let me click enter. See, it says cannot copy, cannot run this stat call copy, right? That's fine, no such file directory, that's okay, but you're not getting any other error. Now let's go to next command, sudo UDEV ADM user development admin UDEM control then space minus reload minus rules space and then ampersand, the and symbol, okay, on your keyboard, and then space twice ampersand and then the space. All right, and then sudo UDEV user development UDEV ADM user development admin, and you have to trigger the signals. All right, invalid control option. Anyways, I had done this already, so I don't see any issues. Anyways guys, so what we need to do is, after this you have to reboot the system. Okay, I'm not going to reboot now because I'm already connected and I want to show you how it works. So once you reboot, make sure you reboot, then because the reboot, whatever the changes you made with your user administration and giving access to I2C bus, that will take effect only after you reboot your Jetson Nano. Okay, once you reboot, in the terminal you need to confirm whether you have access to all your I2C bus serials or not. So how do we check? This is what you need to do. sudo I2C detect I2C detect space -y space -r1. So if you click enter, you will see a serial lines and rows, and in that, whichever the port you connected your PCA 9685 based on the pin configuration, that particular port it will detect. So ideally it is 40 and 60, or sometimes it is 70, and sometimes it might be 50. So in that port the number should display. So let me hit enter. There you go, it's 40 and 70. Can you see that? 40 and 70. So it is connected properly. My Jetson Nano is connected, not this one. This is another one. I have connected another one parallelly, which I am going to show you to in a different camera. Alright guys, so we are all set. Now what we need to do is we need to write some code, the Python code, to make sure that your IDE in Jetson Nano is talking to PCA 9685 and giving some command to those 16 channels to activate your servo motors, right, or sensors in the future. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. Okay, so let me see. I need to driver circuit. All right guys, I hope you guys have followed the circuit. Give me a second. Now let's open up the IDE. Okay, let me just connect my another Jetson Nano and let me open up the IDE. Alright guys, alright, so now what we need to do is, okay, so I had created a folder called servo motor. Just go to file, open a folder, or create a new folder. You can create. In that folder, let me create a Python file. So click new file. Okay, what I'm going to name it as, say, test. Why is it? Okay, one second. So I'm going to name it as test servo.py. Right, there you go, you are on Python sketch. Now what we need to do, we have to import the library which we installed. Okay, and that is your circuit Python library from Adafruit. So let's import time first. Import time. So basically this is required for us to calculate the duration it takes from one angle to other angle in the servo motor. All right, and then from Adafruit underscore servo kit, from that particular library which you install, import servo kit. So here you are going to create an object. All right, Adafruit servo kit, perfect. And then you need to define your kit. So what is that kit? So the kit is going to be your servo kit. All right, which is nothing but your 16 channels equal to 16. All right, so remember guys, you have 16 channels in this, so you are going to activate all the 16 channels. All right, and then you need to define what you want to move in your servo, right? So maybe we can define, if you are using a say for example, this servo which I am using, this is 180 degree servo. There is also 360 degree servo. So in this case, I want to access the entire 180 degree, okay, and then come back reverse. So what I need to do for that, say let's define A, okay, A equal to 180, and then I will define another motor. We can connect 16 different motors, right? In this lesson I'm going to show about 4 motors. So B equals to say 90 degree. All right, and then kit dot servo, and then you need to set this channel to say 0. Remember guys, this starts from 0, not 1 2 3. So the channel starts from 0 1 2 3 like that, right? So that is 0 dot angle equals to what you defined, A, which is your 180 degree. All right, and then let me just copy paste the same thing, because we are going to run the servo across 180 degree. Okay, right, now what we need to do, 0, here you can say 1, here you can say 2, and here 3. So that means you have 4 motors connected. Here, say from 180 degree you want to bring it back to 90 degree, you can define B, okay, and then here A, and then here again B. Alright guys, I hope you guys are following. In case if you don't follow, just leave a comment, I will explain it to you. And then let's create a loop where you have the entire angular motion from 180 to 90 and 90 to 0 and then back to 180, and this has to keep repeating. So your program has to be in the loop. So let's say while true, okay, for I, which is your object ID, in range say 0 to 180, alright, and then colon, right, and within that loop what you need to do, kit dot servo and a square bracket, you are assigning your first motor, okay, the first channel, dot angle equals I, all right, and then the same thing you can probably repeat, angle equals I, all right, and this will be your motor 2, this will be your motor 3, this will be your motor 4, all right. Now you define the angle. Now what you need to do, you imported the time library, right? So the time library basically defines, how much time you need to delay the angle from 0 to 90, 90 to 180, right? So you can define, say for example, time dot sleep, okay, you need to put to sleep, say how many seconds, I would say about 0.505, okay, and then you come out of the loop and let's create another loop. So for I in range, you have to reverse it back, guys. So what you need to do is, now what you had written 0 to 180 for all these 4 servos, it will just go from 0 to 180 and it will stop, right? So you have to get it back again. So what do you do? I in range 180 comma 0 comma minus 1, that means you are reversing it back, all right. And then what you can do, I would simply go ahead and copy this entire thing, all right. I would just copy, make sure the indentation, it's very important guys, or else your program will lead to errors. I think we are pretty good. Maybe we can give a break here and then break. No, if we give a break, then it will stop once for all. So we just need to keep running, right? Now let's see what happens. Alright, so we will do one thing, we will run this code, and let me switch my camera so that you can see my other Jetson Nano, and I will show you how it looks. Let's execute. Let me just plug into my other camera and let me show you if you guys can see. That's kind of weird. Let me clear this off. why am I not able to? Let me clear this. Okay, now let me show you why am I not able to access my another camera for some reason. Hold on, guys. All right, there you go. So this is my setup, guys. I had already connected my PCA 9685 and I have connected all the four servo motors, 1 2 3 4. Okay, and this pin wirings are as per the drawing which I showed you. Okay, so you just follow that, connect it and keep it booted up. And then what we need to do, the code which we wrote just now, so let's execute that code. All right, so let me open the IDE and let me just right click, run Python file in terminal. Okay, there you go. Let me show you. One second, guys, there is some problem with my webcams. There you go. I hope you guys can see very clearly. Can you see? So the program which you define from 0 to 180 and it will just keep repeating because it's in the while loop. Can you see, guys, how beautifully it's getting synchronized? Yeah, so you can also actually set the speed and the directions and the angle, which angle you want to stop. You can also define if for example out of these four motors, if any one motor you want to stop in between in a particular angle, you can do that. You can do that in your code itself. So I'm going to teach you all those things in the upcoming lessons. I'm going to take a separate video what and all stuffs you can do with different angles and positions using servo motors. And we will also start using a different another motor driver board for DC motors, how to drive the DC motors. I am going to show it to you, guys. You can also access through your if you have Arduino board, you can basically connect your the Arduino serial port into the Jetson Nano USB and start communicating with that as well. So that is also possible. I'm going to show that. So we will also be building autonomous bots. That's where we will be using Arduino and Jetson Nano and tons of other devices. All right. So guys, if you want to take a look, let me just show you something. Anyways, or else I'll keep it for the next lesson. I just wanted to show you something very interesting which is coming up. So basically where we are heading is the next lesson or the upcoming lessons. I'm going to show how to connect a couple of sensors and start interacting with the sensors and take the inputs from the external environment and feed that into Jetson Nano and start doing some exercise and interesting projects. Once we are done with that, we will get into building some bots with 4 different motors, and it's going to get more and more deep, guys. So you are going to enjoy that. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope you like this tutorial, and I am going to leave all the commands and the circuit drawings and this code as an example, the link in the description below. So do follow that and have a great day, guys. Have fun. Do give me a thumbs up, and I'm going to be back soon. Bye bye.